Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. My name is Phil Gramlich, and I am the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, a Disney specialized travel agency. I'm here to help you vacation like a total pro in any Disney destination, including Walt Disney World, Disneyland, the Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, and Disney's Aulani Resort in Hawaii. You can find my blog, podcast, money-saving tips, or request a free no-obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. Thank you so much for listening, and now on with the show. I'm going to start this podcast off with an exercise. No, I'm not going to ask you to do jumping jacks or hit a treadmill. I want you to close your eyes, unless you're driving, and think about Walt Disney World. What do you think of first? Castles? Princesses? It's a Small World? Maybe. But I do know one thing that won't jump right into your head, and that's all of the manly activities that dudes can take part in on a Disney vacation. This episode of the podcast is going to focus on Walt Disney World for dudes. Here to help me talk about all things dudes is a man who is a lifelong Disney World fan, an annual pass holder, and the leader of the High Five Revolution, Mr. Johnny Shortsleeve.
I like that. Leader of the High Five Revolution. Thanks for having me on, man. I love talking about this stuff, and it's always fun chatting with you. So thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming back on. I really appreciate it. It's going to be fun.
Right on.
I think it's a fun topic. It's one that's not always, at the top of people's lists when they start talking about Walt Disney World. So I think I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. And I think we should probably say, I have no idea what your list is. You have no idea what my list is. This could be pretty interesting here.
You're right. So that is true. We did take the week. We did our very extensive research on the manly activities in Walt Disney World. And do you remember Austin Powers? When he says she does look a bit mannish. Remember that? So we're going to think about our mannish activities here. So I flipped a coin earlier when you weren't present on the phone call, and I won. So you have to start. Let's hear your first manly activity in Walt Disney World.
Okay. Well, let me do this. Before I jump in and give you my first one, let me let me paint the picture of where my head was on this one, because what I tried to do was I said, you know what, there is going to be a handful of really blatantly obvious choices that anyone could compile of what you would do if you're a dude, or if you're traveling with your family and you're thinking about your husband or your boyfriend or any other adult that's in your party. What are the things that they can do? There are a lot of things that, if you're scrolling through Disney World's website or blogs like the Ear to There Travel blog, which is really good, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. There's some things that will easily pop out. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to throw some really kind of off-the-wall, obscure things that maybe people haven't heard of or thought of, or if they've heard of, they maybe haven't thought of it in terms of how a dude would like this experience. And So this is going to be a lot of bear with me kind of stuff you're going to hear from me, and I hope it's good. I hope you enjoy it, and if you don't, I'm sorry, but this is my honest opinion. So what I wanted to do was, the overall theme, obviously, other than being kind of obscure and different and thinking outside the box kind of thing, was to say, I talk to a lot of people who will come to town and visit the parks and stay on property, and I get so bummed out when I hear this. It's a lot of, oh boy, Johnny, I really need a vacation from my vacation. We're exhausted. That bums me out, because it really is supposed to be a vacation. You're supposed to relax and enjoy and have fun, spending time with your family, your friends, whatever you're doing there, even if you're solo, just having fun. So that is going to be part of the theme of my list here. I came up with 5 things that we're going to be able to relax, to unwind, eat, drink, and be merry. It's all that stuff is going to be dude approved, I promise. So my first thing, we're going to relax. The first thing I want to do is tell you about Senses Spa. Now I know, right? I stop. If anyone who's listening to this wants to hit the exit button, don't do it. Wait, go with me for a second. If you haven't heard of it, at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, or they also have one at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, there is an amazing spa facility at both of those resorts. They do all of the things that you would expect to see at a typical spa, like massage treatments, nail treatments, things like that. When I go there, and yes, I do go there, this is dude approved. Now, when I go there, if I go there just for a massage, it's an amazing experience. Number one, they separate the guys and the gals in this facility. So if you're a dude, you have your own little locker room area. You have your own little, they have a little whirlpool kind of set up, a little sauna set up. So if you're hearing this and you're a female and you go, oh my goodness, I'm going to be cavorting with dudes while I'm at a spa. No, it's not that way.
It's not medieval England.
Right, exactly. Right. I am not ashamed to admit I don't feel like I'm going to be losing man points for saying this. I like going to the spa and getting a massage just for sake of relaxation and burning off stress, things like that. I've been to a lot of different spas, and honestly, this is up there. The Senses Spa is really good. The prices aren't that bad either. That's one of the things that people often talk about with Disney is you sometimes hear the concern about pricing. Well, wow, this is a $10 cheeseburger. I could go home and get one from Five Guys for $6. Well, yeah, there's an experience element that's tacked onto that, sure, which kind of drives that price. But honestly, the prices for Senses Spa are not that bad. If you go and compare to other spas, back where you live, you're not going to find sticker shock. And I honestly feel when I'm done with that experience, there's a whole thing that goes on, and I won't waste a lot of time with explaining the whole experience that they build around the guests when they come to the spa. But it's more than just, hey, you show up, you get a massage, and you go. No, this is something you could literally say, just come hang out here for the whole day, even though you're only here for a massage. So that's something I think can be a great thing if you're a guy who's traveling with your family and you just want to have a little time to relax, to go to the spa, go get a massage treatment, then meet up with the rest of your family or your party a little later. And trust me, it is money well spent when you're on a Disney vacation. So
I have to say I am slightly surprised by your first one.
Nice.
I am... Honestly, in my life, I've never had a massage ever.
Oh man,
I know. No. I'm weird when it comes to that kind of thing. I just have this strange reaction to not a spa per se, but the massage experience. I don't like when a doctor checks out my knee if it's bothering me. So I don't know how well I would do. Yeah, during a massage, but I do know that you're not alone. I mean, they are the Disney spots, especially have a lot of fans, a lot of guys go check them out and go do them. So,
well, man, you're a bona fide travel agent, man. You could write that off. That's research for your business.
That's a good point. That is. So I'm coming down in April, so maybe I'll have to try to suck it up and try one out.
And do it after, you're coming down for the run, right? So do it after, book one for after, because you're going to need to relax all those muscles after running however many miles that's going to be with all the different races.
It is. I've seen they have the tent set up after the races too, where you can get the massage. For anyone listening, by the way, bring cash. They don't take credit cards for those. I do know that. But and I never have cash on me when I'm in Disney ever now, especially with the Magic Bands. You never have cash.
Yeah.
At least I don't. But maybe I'll duck into a tent, or I'll try to break the ice with a massage at some point. But
start with the tent, and just so you can kind of feel out the process. But I think and you brought up a really good point, Phil, because if there are guys listening and thinking about this and who are in your position, hey, one of the nice things about the way they handle the procedure there is they're very welcoming. They do a great job of communicating with you. What makes you the most comfortable? And it's not just, hey, you're here, I'm the boss. No, they don't. That's not how they roll. So it can be a great way to kind of get yourself the chance to experience this for the first time. That would be a great place to do it.
Yeah, what's funny is that as you were saying that about making you feel comfortable and all, I know I talk about pop culture references an awful lot, but I thought of Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin when he goes to the waxing place.
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah, that's so funny.
To make me feel, they make him feel as uncomfortable as possible in that situation, but that's all I can think of now. So, All right, so the first one we had was the Senses Spa. All right, so I did not go obscure. I kind of went right for the obvious, very Tim Allen. That's his name, right? Tim Allen, Tool Time.
Yeah. I won't do the grunt.
Yeah, I can't do it either. But I went for that. I went for the very manly type places. So my first one I'm going with is the Yachtsman Steakhouse over at the Yacht Club. And listen, this place it's as dude-ish, manly as you can get. It's no frills. There's not a lot of theming going on in this place. There's no characters. You're not getting any distractions. It's all about the steaks when you go there. I mean, you walk in, it's kind of low lighting. The first thing you do is you walk past the meat trimming station and the aging room. And you get to look in there, and there's all that, it's like if you're a carnivore like I am, you look in and it's just meat everywhere. It's huge, ridiculous steaks that are aging in that cool room, and there's people cutting them when you walk by. It's really, really neat. And then after that, before you're seated, you walk past the open kitchen, right? So you get to smell all the steaks cooking, and it's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's as manly as it gets, I think. And then once you actually get to your table and you have your server bring you over the menu, for me, I'm a big craft beer fan. They have a really good beer selection if you're into that kind of thing. They also have a good wine selection. But the menu is where it really, really gets kind of crazy and out of hand and manly. I know just a few years ago they had I think it was a 26 or a 28 ounce porterhouse that they had on the menu. They've since cut it down to a 24 ounce porterhouse. But to be honest with you, 24 ounce.
That's
steak,
a lot. Man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot. It's like the John Candy, the old 96er.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. Yeah, from the Great Outdoors, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they tell me I have to eat the fat at the end in order to get it for free. Yeah, that's great. I love that movie.
But I don't think Disney will give you that thing for free if you take down that 24 ouncer.
No, I think it's like $46 for the porterhouse, and then the bigger one used to be I think $52 or something like that. But I'm not a big, I'm not a huge eater. I like the filet. I'll take I think it's like a 10 ounce or an 8 ounce filet. So I usually pick that one. And to be honest with you, I've only been there a couple times. It can be a little pricey, but for a man meal, I don't think you can beat it. And they also have they have a really cool appetizer menu. They have a mussels appetizer, which I don't know how mannish that is, but that's kind of cool. And then for me, I get the Caesar salad. And I know maybe a salad isn't the most manly thing or the most dude-ish thing to mention. Dude-ish, is that right? Dude? I don't know.
We'll make it up, man. Let's we'll call it an official word.
I'm thinking another pop culture reference. What is it? The Big Lebowski with the dude.
Yeah.
But for dudes, I'd like a Caesar salad to start off my meal, and then I won't get the 24 ounce porterhouse because that's like the Incredible Hulk of steaks. If he was coming, that would be great. That would feed me, I think, for like an entire weekend. That size of a steak. But yeah, it's just you walk in and you feel like it's just such a guy experience from the trimming station to the open kitchen to the ridiculous size steaks on the menu. It's for me that's a very manly spot.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I like that choice, and because and I like where you're going with this because, like we said before, I had no idea where your head was and what your list was before we started talking. So this sounds like this is going to be a good conversation because it's going to be a lot of yin and yang. I'm going to be going crazy off the wall, and you're going to be, hitting the ball right down the middle of the fairway every time, which is good. And here's the thing about Yachtsman is I honestly, 100%, I don't think I've ever spoken to anyone who's eaten there who said, yeah, I'm one and done. That's all. I don't need to do that again. It's always, I can't wait till I go back.
Yeah, you're right. It's the food. It's like I said, no frills. It's the really good steak, good sides. They have like the garlic fries, I think it is, or a potato as a side. The Caesar salad's awesome. It's not like I said. There's nothing fancy about the place. It's just all about the food. You're not going to have Handy Manny come to your table and sign an autograph. But it's just a really good place to go if you want a good steak.
Handy Manny at the Yachtsman. He might make a cameo appearance. You never know.
We'll see. I guess they're having like a few special events this year, so maybe he will.
They keep closing everything down at Hollywood Studios.
He's going to need a job. They need something. Yeah. All right, man. So after the Yachtsman Steakhouse, what do you have next on your list?
All right, so I started with relaxing, now we have to unwind. That's my second theme right here, second choice. This one's going to be kind of off the wall again, but go with me for a second. Okay. Renting a pontoon boat. Now, renting boats, period. If you talk to someone and introduce that idea in a conversation about renting a boat at Disney, it's usually those little water sprites, those little tiny things, little two-seaters. You got like a little 9 horsepower motor in the back. They can zip around pretty good. They're a lot of fun to ride around in. But most people don't realize, or they don't even give it a second thought about some of the other watercraft that you can rent. This is, of course, I'm talking about the resort hotels that have marinas, so like the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, right. Contemporary, and a bunch of the other ones too. Not all resorts have a marina, but the ones that do not only have those little water sprites, but have some of the larger watercraft as well. So like there's little Montauk boats, Boston Whalers. Those are cool little boats to zip around. I've rented those too. But I like the pontoon boat. Even if it's just you and a couple people, you don't have to have that thing loaded with 8 people and then have like a full-fledged party. I like it because, for some reason, for me, the pontoon boat feels like it's like a Buick gliding across the water, man. And I'm not saying that in like a pejorative way. I mean like in a good way. It's nice and smooth because it's got a lot of surface area. So it's a good smooth ride. And they don't put big motors on these things, so don't expect to be setting any land speed records with this thing. I think they have like a little 9.9 on the back of that too, which it's got a lot of mass to push for that little motor. But it's not a speed thing. It's just a cruising kind of thing. And one of my favorite things to do when I rent one is I'll go over to the marina at the Polynesian, rent one, and we'll cruise through Seven Seas Lagoon. Then we'll cross that little water bridge right there by the Contemporary. Right. And then go down Bay Lake and zip around Discovery Island. Then come back like in front of the Magic Kingdom Marina, then go back in the Polynesian, like an hour or so. It's relaxing. I live down here in Orlando. There's a gazillion lakes. I don't own a boat. I have friends that own boats, and that's what's cool because I don't have the expense of maintaining a boat. But if I just want to go, and it's such a nice ride. You have all the, there's the sounds from the ferries and the other boats, and then there's the view of the monorail zipping around, and it's a fun experience. It's very relaxing. To go out there. It's quiet. And, the neat thing too is, I heard someone say this, and I definitely I don't want anyone to quote me as being the source on this, but, Discovery Island obviously is dormant right now. Right. We won't go into what that was, but the thing that's significant though, I do want to mention is someone told me somewhere down the line that when Walt and his crew was doing their surveying of the land back in the mid 60s, they were flying over that section of the property and saw Discovery Island. It was called something else, obviously, at that time. And he was really kind of fixed on. It's like, wow, that's really cool. I have a good vibe about this area. I don't think he said that I have a good vibe, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I think it was kind of like, a potential selling point to him in seeing that island there. So to me, that I think is a lot of fun to do. You're not going as fast as you can in the sprites, but just going out there, it helps you. It helps me to unwind. So that's my second choice, to go out and rent a pontoon boat.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing to do too. I'm not sure. Did they let you bring food on those, or is it? I forget what the deal was. There's a couple of them that you can bring, like a lunch out there, and some you can't. Yeah,
I've never done it, but I think if memory serves me correctly, you can. So, like for example, with Polynesian, you're so close to Captain Cook's.
Sure.
You can grab a quick bite and bring some beverages out there, because if something like that, you have a huge surface area to put some cup holders and all that kind of stuff, so you're not spilling stuff.
You can go to get the buffalo chicken and waffles there from the Captain Cook's.
Ooh, you know what else is good there, man? The Aloha pork.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a good sandwich.
Yeah, but that's a good call, because a lot of people don't know that you can do that when you're on a Disney vacation. Is rent a boat. Period. Like people, you go and you bang out the parks and you're rushing from thing to thing the entire time, and it's running from attraction to attraction or park to park, and that's a really good idea to. And I know they also offer like fishing excursions that you can do out on Bay Lake.
Yeah,
it's kind of they're catch and release. I guess they don't let you, got the fish right on the. On the Magic Kingdom dock there.
You're not frying them up on the beach there. No, and maybe that's part of it is, if people do know about the marinas and they see the little sprites, because 99% of the people who do rent a boat out there are renting those little tiny sprite watercraft. The fishing excursions are done on those pontoon boats. They have their own. They have with the bigger motors on them, and they're bigger rigs set up for fishing. But they may see those and go, oh, you know what, that's for the fishing excursion. They may not think, oh, you know what, I can rent that too. Yeah. And it's a totally different experience than the Sprite, because you're not going fast. You're just going nice and slow and just relaxing and enjoying the scenes. And plus, it's fun to commandeer a boat.
Yeah, sure. And some of the views you get too, or you don't get those views anywhere else.
Yeah, man.
On the lakes, it's really cool if you have a camera.
I've gotten some pictures that I've taken from riding on the pontoon boats that I couldn't have, like you said, gotten from any other vantage point other than just being out there on my own and in the pontoon boat. And you get some cool, because if you're somebody who likes taking pictures, it's kind of neat to have some different perspectives of some of the things on property.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I'm the amateur photographer in my family. I bought a good camera that I don't know how to use, and I try to figure it out when I'm on vacation. So yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the one that drags around like the camera bag with like 3 lenses in it. I don't know how the heck to use any of them.
As long as you look the part, man, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I should. I'm the guy that has the strap, the camera strap around my neck and 2 lenses in my pocket when I'm walking through the park like a moron.
Well, you need to get like the vest too. Yeah, that's a big part
true.
Of it.
To put all the lenses and the memory cards and all that in the vest. Yeah,
maybe one of those pith hats, like the safari hats, like
Yeah, well, maybe on the next trip, maybe one night. So, all right. So going from your pontoon boat, I'm going to hit the land instead of the sea.
There we go.
It's actually playing off something you said earlier, because you said something about driving a ball right down the middle of the fairway, because I'm going to say one of the greatest things that you can do in Disney is golf.
Because I set you up perfectly for that, man.
And I know, and I was hoping I could segue it a little earlier. When you said it, I was like, oh man, I'm perfect. Now I can say something really quick.
That was a beautiful alley-oop I just gave you.
It really was. But so the cool thing about Disney that I know a lot of golfers know, but maybe the average Disney fan doesn't know, is that Disney has 4 golf courses on property that you can play. 3 of them are PGA, literally PGA style courses. The 4th is more of a family course where you can bring kids and you can walk the course. There's no golf carts allowed. But the 3 the PGA courses that they have, which are actually PGA courses where events have been played, are the Palm, the Magnolia, and the Lake Buena Vista course. And I've actually seen, when I was local down there, I saw some PGA events played on those courses. It's really cool to play on a course that, I would say Tiger Woods, but he's not exactly the greatest golfer around anymore. But but Arnold Palmer, the Arnold Palmer group manages the courses down there. The Oak Trail course is the fourth course, and that's a 9-hole golf course. That's, again, there's no golf carts allowed, but it's walkable and it's made for families. They have everything from a par 3 to a par 5 there. A couple big par 5s too, like a 500-plus yard par 5, which I can't imagine a kid playing and not getting a 65 on or something like that. But golfing, I do love golf. I've never been very good at it. I've been playing since I was in high school, and I'm in my late 30s now, so it's been a long time. But yeah,
well, that's funny. You mentioned Tiger because prior to his fall from grace with his personal issues, right, he used to live right down the street from the Magic Kingdom and all that kind of stuff, and I was always surprised that he never did any of those events. I don't know if the purses weren't big enough for him or he had schedule conflicts or whatever, but I was thinking it certainly wasn't geography because he could have probably rode a skateboard over there if he wanted.
Yeah, they're right in his backyard, right? He's over in I think he's in Windermere where he
used to be. He's
not there. He's not there anymore.
Well, that's ever since the little implosion he's vacated the property.
Yeah, that makes sense. The implosion, right?
He's left the building.
But I guess his wife, I wonder if she still owns it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
He sold it to another golfer on the tour, and I'm trying to think, is Bubba Watson or somebody like that owns that house now.
I remember that was insane. Like he had when he built a new house after that, he had like a 9-hole golf course built into his yard or something insane like that. But like I said, I've never been good, and I know I quoted Mitch Hedberg when we did a podcast last time, and he is my all-time favorite comedian. I thought he was a genius, but he had a great line and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to say it like he would say it. He says one of his jokes went. He said, "I like golf. I never got very good at golf. I never got a hole in one, but I did hit a guy, and that was way more satisfying." He said, "You're supposed to yell 4, but I was too busy saying there ain't no way that's going to hit him." That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite Mitch Hedberg jokes. I love that.
I think that needs to be like a thing that shows up in every podcast. Like tie in Mitch Hedberg.
I could do a Mitch Hedberg joke in every podcast. Definitely. He's
like a comedian's comedian though. He's wildly underrated in my opinion.
I agree, and he is my all-time favorite. And it's a shame he did pass away so young, because he's one of those guys. He had everything he said was funny. Everything. It was ridiculously funny.
And it was amazingly unique too, like his style and his speech pattern and just his look, it kind of added to it as well. Just the persona.
It just reminded me of another joke when he said, because of his look and his persona, when he says, because he used to close his eyes on stage the whole show. He never looked at the crowd. And one of his jokes was, I close my eyes on stage a lot because on the inside of my eyelids, I drew a picture of a crowd enjoying my show a lot more. And I love that. But yeah, so anyway, to get away from Mitch Hedberg for a minute, I think that is something I'm going to aim for, actually. I'm going to try to put a Mitch Hedberg joke in every single podcast.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I think that'd be a great thing.
Yeah, I think he had 3 albums that he put out, and I think I have all 3 memorized. So yeah, maybe we'll go with that. But from Mitch Hedberg and golf, we go over to your next one.
So we relaxed, we unwinded. Now it's time to start thinking about eat, drinking, and being merry. So for the third thing on my list, to eat, going to be very similar to what you talked about with Yachtsman Steakhouse, and the idea of, if you've gone through the parks, you've had you've walked 10 miles or whatever you can put through and make your Fitbit blow up because it's never counted that high because you're doing so much walking. You're going to be tired and you need to eat. I want to throw out another steakhouse as well. But again, keeping with my theme of the obscure, things that maybe people haven't heard of. Bull and Bear. Do you know where Bull and Bear is?
No. I don't.
Thank goodness, because I can feel like I really am bringing something obscure here. So Bull and Bear is in the Waldorf Astoria, which is in the Bonnet Creek Resort area. Right. So if you I don't want to go into the history, but so Bonnet Creek Resort area is technically like in the bubble of the Disney property, but it's not owned by Disney. It's privately owned, and it's a really crazy story. It's probably even worth like an investigation. We could talk offline about it. It's really, really cool story about how it kind of came to pass. But in that little Bonnet Creek Resort area, which is kind of between Disney Springs and Disney's Hollywood Studios, right near like Caribbean Beach Resort and all that kind of stuff. There's like a Wyndham property. And then two adjoining hotels, a Hilton and a Waldorf Astoria. The Bull and Bear Steakhouse inside the Waldorf Astoria is a man's man kind of steakhouse. It's kind of like the Yachtsman, kind of same kind of decor, wood everywhere, kind of low lighting. It sits on the golf course there at the Waldorf Astoria property, so you kind of look out depending where you're seated, you can see the golf course and look out that way. It's a great spot if you're there as a couple or even with families. I've been there with my kids, and I obviously went early with the first seating. I didn't want to go there at like 9:00 on a Saturday night and then all of a sudden ruin somebody's mojo as he's getting ready to propose to his girlfriend. Right. But it's great. And here's the thing. Steaks are amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's one thing that's interesting. I want to bring this up. And if anyone's ever been there or anyone who ends up going, you will hear them talk about the fried chicken there. And immediately you think, I'm not going to get fried chicken at a steakhouse. Get your steak, but also get the fried chicken too, because it's literally the best fried chicken. I don't like fried chicken. I like that fried chicken so much. Wow. They cook it in a special technique called sous vide. So if you're a cooking freak like I am, you know exactly what that's all about, and you get super excited when you hear anybody doing anything sous vide. And but there's another thing too. So there's the crazy sous vide fried chicken, which is insanely awesome. There's amazing steaks, great wine list, and the wine list there is, just like you would imagine in any steakhouse. You can get the super crazy expensive bottles to try to impress people. Don't go that way. You can get one of the more reasonably priced ones, and they're not bad in how they price it. But there's this crazy dessert that they have in there. It's a lemon. It's basically a whole lemon that shows up. They do some kind of candying process to it. You eat the whole shebang. Just blows your mind. It's such a cool place. While we're kind of talking, that's a great thing for the guys. You love the steak. You love the kind of like a manly meal. It's cool because it's quiet over there. In that corner of the property in Bonnet Creek. So you're literally within spitting distance of all that kind of stuff like Disney Springs and Disney's Hollywood Studios and the Epcot area as well. But it's just enough away where it's quiet. And you can have a very quiet meal over there. And next door, it's all connected to Hilton. They have an amazing restaurant there called La Luce. It's a little Italian restaurant, one of the best Italian restaurants I've ever been to in my life. So that's something to check out. It's off the wall. It's different. So this is a great topic or a great tip for someone who's been to Disney a million times and they say, maybe I'm looking for something different. Just sneak over there. It's not that far.
Yeah, that's perfect for me because I had no idea what you were going with when you said that. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been there. Because Disney transportation doesn't exactly take you right over to those restaurants. So that's really, really a cool thing.
Yeah, so I think if you're not, I don't know how it works if you're not a guest. I mean, for me, I just drive, but you can take like an Uber or something or a cab. and get over there, it's literally would only be a few bucks because it's literally on the property.
Right.
Just they don't call it Disney property.
Yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, next time I'm down, I'll have to try it out. I'm down by myself in April, so maybe I'm without the wife and kids. So maybe I'll take a little excursion over there and give it a shot.
Yeah, man, definitely.
All right, so I'm going to stick with the food theme and go with my next one, and it's kind of an obvious one. It's over at the Boardwalk Inn, and it's the ESPN Club. If you're a sports fan like I am, I'm a big Philadelphia sports fan. I'm a Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers fan. I love all the sports, and this one kind of goes without saying, I guess, because it has ESPN in the title. But I love going there when I'm in Walt Disney World. It actually doesn't hurt. I'm sorry, because for some reason my kids love it. I don't know why, because they don't even every night I have a Flyers game on, or during the football season I have the Eagles on, and especially all summer with the Phillies, I try to get them to watch it, and they'll sit for 30 seconds, and they're like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to watch it anymore. But they love it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the atmosphere, or if it's there's 100 TVs with all different games on, and it's just really, really active, and there's a lot going on.
It's like sensory overload, and it's like a very novel experience.
Yeah, and it could be the cupcake with the gummy worms in it too. That could be for the kids. But I love that place, and I will go there. Like I said, I'll be by myself in April for the Star Wars half, and I will go there on my own just to sit at the bar after the race, have a couple of drinks, get the peanut butter and jelly burger.
I knew you were going to say it.
Dude, I love that burger. I love that burger.
No, I'm not knocking. I knew that was like on your, like, if you're on death row, God forbid, like that would probably what you would have sent to your chamber. Yeah,
it's going to be there. Without a doubt, that's my last meal before the lethal injection. It's a really weird sounding but great tasting burger. So I'll go with that. And then
I'm surprised no one tried to knock it off, to do a knockoff of it, because you know how a lot of kind of unique recipes people kind of gravitate toward and say, "Ooh, I think we can do that. We can copy it." Like the Primanti brothers,
sure, yeah.
Folks that are from Pittsburgh. That sandwich gets copied so much, or that style of sandwich. I'm surprised no one's tried to copy a peanut butter and jelly. The way their interpretation, or do something similar.
Yeah, it's just they did a great job with it. And I actually remember with you, when I was out in Disneyland over the summer for the D23 Expo, I put up on one of the social media sites that the ESPN Zone in California didn't have the peanut butter and jelly burger, and I was so bummed out.
That's weird, yeah.
And you said, I remember you responded and said something like, Californians aren't ready for that next level burger. And I don't know how true that is, but yeah, it's a neat place to go and get food and watch a game. And if you listen, like I said, for me, I'm a big Philadelphia sports fan. I'm a big, huge Phillies fan. And my wife and I were in Walt Disney World for the 2008 playoffs when the Phillies actually won the World Series. Of course, we made the plan 6 months ahead, so we didn't know they were going to be in the the NLDS, National League Division Series, when we were there. But we watched the game at the ESPN Club on vacation, the Phillies playoff game, and it was electric. I mean, it was the coolest, and even better than being at home, honestly. It was the coolest experience I've ever had. There were, what was really fun? There was, being a Philadelphia fan, there's a lot of people that hate you because they think you're I don't know, Philadelphia gets a bad rap as far as sports fans goes. So there were a lot of people that hated that I was cheering for the Phillies, and then there was the same amount of people that loved that I was cheering for the Phillies. And it's the same thing, I think, with the big college games there, or the big NFL playoff games there. You get fans from everywhere that kind of have like a camaraderie watching, games there, and eating and drinking and having fun. It's a really, really, really cool place to go for a guy if you're on vacation or even with your family and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, and that's a really good point, because if you're somebody who is like what you're talking about, like in the middle of a season and you're really into a game, but you're going to be traveling on vacation, the hotel room TVs don't have a super wide spectrum of channels that you can shoot. You don't have all 17 ESPNs or whatever you have at your home, or the NFL ticket, things like that. But that's a great spot to hang out, and it's always packed when there's big games going on, and so that can be a great, not only just from the standpoint of being able to catch a game, but also it breaks up the day a little bit. You can have some fun with the family, and they can have their own little thing there. Then there's the peanut butter and jelly burger too.
Exactly, and the cool thing is you can walk from Epcot. If you walk out the International Gateway there, between England or UK, and France, right? That's where.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-minute walk, probably less than that, to the ESPN club. So it's really cool. And the last thing I have to say about it is, if you have to use the bathroom during any game when you're at ESPN, there are TVs in the bathroom, so you can go in there and do your thing, and you won't miss a pitch, you won't miss a touchdown. It's ridiculous that there's TVs in the bathroom, but it's really cool. So that's a really good place to go.
It's a double-edged sword. It's cool and scary at the same time, because when there's like a big touchdown happens, you don't want to be, we'll leave it at that.
That's a good point. All right, so after the ESPN Club, I think we each have. Do you have one more? Or do you have two more?
I got two more. So I did. This is in my Eat, Drink, and Be Merry series. We did eat at Bull and Bear. Now, drink. I'm not saying go out and get booze. Some people think drink around Epcot, that kind of thing. I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool. I'm not going to knock you. I like to bend my elbow a little bit myself. So, but I'm not saying go crazy. But one of the things I think that people don't really think about too often is the lounges at the resort hotels. Obviously, if you're thinking about, you're a big craft beer fan, they're starting to really wake up to people like you.
Yeah, they are.
And they're putting more, not only just, local, the Central Florida area's got a lot of really good local breweries in the area, and they're starting to feature some of those beers, as well as some of the bigger houses that are out there. There's a lot of cool things to do at Epcot. Everyone thinks about that. There's a lot of, even in Animal Kingdom, Disney's Hollywood Studios, there's places where you can get some cocktails, beer and wine, things like that. But the lounges, because if you think about it, when you travel, I don't know. For me, tell me if you agree with this or not. There's kind of a stigma with the hotel bar. It's kind of the place where, like, if you're on business travel, you go there and you whip out your corporate credit card and just go nuts and just drown your sorrows, or it's just kind of overpriced booze, but not the lounges at the resort hotels. It's been my experience. Instead, they have something for everybody. I mean, obviously, this is a family friendly place, so you can go there with with your kids and hang out. And there's small bites at a lot of these places. Like for one of my favorites is the Territory Lounge at the Wilderness Lodge. Yep. There's some really good food that not only is, it's higher end. It's not just, they have, some stuff that kids would like, but there's some stuff that's kind of adventurous on there, and it's small plates. It's easy to share. Meisner's Lounge at the Grand Floridian is cool, because then you have the orchestra that plays behind it, the big band. Another cool one is Bellevue, the Bellevue Lounge at the Boardwalk.
I love that place.
It's fun. It's kind of quirky. It's like the 30s kind of vibe.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on in there besides the drinks they don't serve. I'm pretty sure they don't serve food there. It's just the drinks, and that's it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I should disclaim this. I said about family friendly. I think some of them do have some time restrictions on kids. So like Trader Sam's. Yeah. I think I don't know if it's like 8:30 and 9 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Sam's, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a universal.
Trust me, I'm a Trader Sam's guy. Yeah, I know.
You got that one down pat. Yeah. So that's something to be mindful of. again, it's a neat way to kind of wind down after a day of going through the parks and maybe getting yourself a little worn down, just to sit down, relax, have a beer or wine or a cocktail. And the cocktail program at these lounges is insane. It's really, they're kicking it up a notch, and they're doing some really adventurous stuff, especially like you just mentioned, Trader Sam's. There's some really great stuff that they're putting out there. So that's something that's definitely worth checking out and saying, you know what, I'm going to have a little me time for the guys out there. Just go and hang out and grab a drink and a nice little nightcap.
Yeah, I really agree. And Trader Sam's is like the ultimate in like not just guy hangouts, but if you're looking to go to a place that you can get a couple of drinks and relax, and it's different, it's entertaining. Just the atmosphere itself is entertaining. It's a really cool place to go.
Real fast, funny Trader Sam's story. So the last time you were in town, you and I were down there with our buddy Herb, right, and sitting there having a drink. And if you recall, there was a woman at the bar who ordered the drink and got the Black Pearl. Right. And the bartender was like, "Oh my God, this is kind of a big deal." And she wasn't aware of how rare that is to get one of those. Right. And part of me was thinking at the time, I was like, I should go over there and offer $5 for it. Yeah. and I was like, no, I don't want to be a jerk or whatever. I'll just kind of let it go. And then, so we went home that night. We kind of went our separate ways. I went to my house and I pulled up eBay to try to see if I could find a Black Pearl. Man, it's insane what some of the people ask for those things. And they're not always on there because they're hard to get.
Yeah, they are.
Some guy was asking like $150 for one of these things.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy, and it's a glass, right? I mean, that's all it is. It's not like a crazy, but yeah. And I've seen that with the first edition glasses too from Disneyland. Even just a regular or the first edition Nautilus glasses, they go for that much.
Yeah.
Too, it's nuts. You know what? Speaking of lounges, one that we didn't mention that I do want to kind of quickly mention is the River Roost Lounge over at Port Orleans Riverside.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, up until now, it's still one of my favorite lounges on all of property, for one reason and one reason only, and it's Yeehaw Bob Jackson.
Yeah,
who has probably the best non-advertised show on all of Disney property. If you want to go to a great show that's completely family friendly. I think it's 4 nights a week. I'm pretty sure maybe it's 5. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's either Wednesday. It starts on Wednesday or it starts on Thursday, and it's for 4 straight nights or 5 straight nights. But he's a piano player that has this crazy, rocking piano that rocks back and forth when he plays it. He's a crazy character that has his own. It's his character that he created, that he owns, and I can't really explain it unless you go see a show. It's just an amazing show. It's so much fun after you go to the parks all day. You sit down, you get a drink, you get an appetizer, and he involves the whole crowd. He gets you up dancing, singing. It's a great show. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're going to Disney anytime soon, go see his show.
And here's a quick testimony for him. Just from my own observation, his show is so good that a lot of the cast members, when they're obviously not working, they'll come to see the show just to hang out. Yeah. And and that's the kind of that to me is a huge testimony, because you think about whatever you do for a living, when you punch out, you want to go home, you want to go and relax or be with your family. Anything that, in my opinion, is kind of like asking a chef, where do you eat? Asking a cast member, where do you like to hang out? That's to me, that should be the sign of this is the really good stuff.
Yeah.
And he's very popular with the locals and the cast members.
Yeah, he really is. And when I was actually a local, Amy, my wife, and I used to go, once a month to go see a show. It's really that good. And my favorite part about it is when he does a new group will walk in and he'll say, "Hey, back there, where are you guys from?" And they'll say, Michigan. And then he'll ask the whole crowd, "Is anyone here from Michigan?" And the whole place goes, "Yeah," because he's already installed that with the rest of the crowd that they're gonna cheer and act like they're from Michigan. what's really funny is one time I was with my aunt who had never done the show, had never seen the show before, and he said to us, "Where are you from?" And we said Philadelphia, and the whole crowd went nuts. And my aunt looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, are all these people from Philadelphia?" I was like, you don't get it, but anyway, yeah, it's a great show to go see.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I'm gonna kind of close it out on my last one. Then you have one more after that.
Yeah.
My last one is actually another sports related one, and it's over at the Wide World of Sports for dudes. I think you can't beat the Braves spring training baseball
going on right now.
Yeah. So spring training pitchers and catchers reported last week, I guess. So I know it was up in the air if they were going to do it at the Wide World of Sports after last year, but they did extend their contract. They are there this year in 2016. And going to see spring training, for me, I don't think it gets better as a baseball fan. You get right up close with the players. They're really laid back. They're really relaxed. They'll sign autographs. They'll chit-chat with the fans before and after the games. You can even go see workouts and get autographs and talk to them that way. It's a really, really, really cool place to go and see, the players up close. And what's also really neat about it is if you're in the area, if you're in, the Disney area around, Kissimmee or the Astros actually, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had their training facility in Kissimmee. And as a Phillies fan, I could drive down. It's not a very far drive down to Clearwater to see the Phillies play in the spring training.
See, that maybe this is a good opportunity for folks to think about how they can work with you. Say, set up like a little spring training package, because Central Florida has a lot of the teams, and even out toward like the Space Coast. What is it? 45 minutes or so, an hour east of Disney property. I think there's a handful of teams that are out there as well. I can't keep track of everybody who's out in this area, but yeah. So I know somebody who he comes down. He didn't do it this year, but he comes down and he'll stay on Disney property. They'll do the vacation thing. They'll go and watch the Braves do their thing for spring training, just hang out there for a bit. They're not even Braves fans, but it's just neat to be in part of that that environment. Especially he has two younger kids who are, I think they're one's 7, one's 9. So they're kind of in that age where they're into baseball, and they kind of this is a professional player. This is a big deal. So mom and dad putting them in that type of environment, that's a really cool way to score points with the kids. And then of course, obviously, you could always zip out if you're the Yankees. Don't the Yankees have do their training down here?
They are in a grapefruit league, yes. And I didn't mention the Yankees because I'm one of those Yankees.
Oh, sorry.
Because I do, as New York likes to say, we're in the shadow, quote unquote, of New York in Philadelphia. So they do, they play. I forget where. Somebody right now is listening to this and me. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where the Yankees play? But I don't know where the Yankees play. But it is in Florida. It is in the Grapefruit League. If you go down there for spring training, it's a great place. And the Braves play all the other teams in their stadium. So really, they have one of the greatest spring training stadiums around. Because it's on Disney property, and it's you can go and sit and watch a great game. And they used to have the World Baseball Classic there as well. I know I'm pretty sure that's discontinued, but
and for the craft beer fans like you, I saw. I don't know if this is just this year they started doing it, or if they've done it before, where when the other teams come in, they'll do the regional craft beers of that city. So like when Baltimore comes down, they're going to have the guy out in Delaware, Dogfish Head. Yeah,
I didn't see that. That's really cool. I didn't know about that.
There you go, man. So we need to get everybody's listening here. You need to contact Phil if you're into baseball. Get down there and watch some of the spring training stuff. If you're a craft beer fan, contact Phil. Go down there and you can see some of the cool stuff too.
Look at that. Dudes looking out for other dudes.
Yeah, man. That's how we have to roll.
Thanks, man. All right, well, let's get going with your last one. What was your last Disney tip for dudes?
So eat, drink, and be merry. So this is the fifth one. We're being merry here. Have some laughs. I think that's a really cool thing to do on vacation because I think laughter is a great, for me at least, it's great therapy. It helps me to kind of relax and unwind. And again, that's kind of the theme here: relaxing, unwinding, enjoying yourself while you're on vacation. Some people, if you're a hardcore Disney fan, you may remember something called Pleasure Island, and they had some nightclubs and some fun things to do there. One of them was the Comedy Warehouse. So it was basically improv comedy, tons of fun. They bring it back for the holidays over Disney's Hollywood Studios just for a short run. I haven't heard if they ever want to kind of bring that back in full swing. But one of the things that I like to do to catch a laugh, and I always do because it's improv comedy, it's the Citizens of Hollywood over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And real quick, thumbnail sketch of what is essentially, with Disney's Hollywood Studios, a good portion of it, especially like Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard and that part of the park, it's a throwback. It's the Hollywood that never was kind of thing from the 40s and that kind of time frame. And the Citizens of Hollywood are, as I've heard them referred to as streetmosphere. Essentially, they're actors and actresses that interact with the guests, and you're basically in the middle of them living their lives. And so they have some folks who, like the public works crew, they're out there fixing stuff like the light posts. And there's Dorma Nesmond, who's kind of a play on Norma Desmond, the character from Sunset Boulevard, the film. An actress who kind of is looking for fame still. But my favorite guy is Jack Diamond. He's kind of a sharp-talking, sleight-of-hand kind of guy who does little magic tricks on a card table that he sets up. Even if you're not big into magic and that kind of stuff, it's still an entertaining show because the stuff that he does is extremely impressive. He's really good at what he does, but he's also super funny. And he's got great comedic timing. He can improvise really well. I had many a laugh out loud moments with him. And I honestly, I don't think I've ever seen him trotting around in Hollywood Studios and stopped to watch his show and never laughed at it because it's always, he's working with the crowd. And that's the kind of stuff that I really love. To me, anything that's live, kind of unscripted, even though he is kind of probably following, some degree of a script, to me is really cool because you never know what you're going to get. Every single show is going to be a little bit different. And so the unfortunate thing is the Citizens of Hollywood and Jack Diamond, that whole crew, I don't know that I've ever seen a times guide out there for them other than just the general times guide that says they'll be out and about between 10 and 3 or something like that. So you can't just say, I see Jack Diamond's going to be trolling through at 10:45. You just kind of have to just hang out. And that's kind of neat because if you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to go grab a drink or I'm going to go over to Starring Rolls and grab a cupcake, which are pretty darn good, by the way. Cupcake. Oh, boy. That's a whole nother podcast right there. It is. Just to say, I'm going to sit on a bench. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to relax and just enjoy a little bit of quiet time. And then, lo and behold, a couple minutes may go by and somebody's going to be just trotting through and you're in the middle of the story. And they're great. They're great. They're funny. And that's, I think, is what I enjoy telling people to do when they're in town. Say, don't get yourself too caught up in having a very regimented schedule. Allow some things to happen and just, be in the moment. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do if you're going to try to be in the moment at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, you know what? You couldn't be more right. I love that. I love the Citizens of Hollywood. It's such a cool, unique to that park kind of thing. And you're right. It's cool that they don't have like at 1:30 p.m. he'll be appearing in front of the Planet Hollywood shop, which again I can't believe it's still there. But I don't know who buys Planet Hollywood shirts anymore. But it really is. It's such a cool thing, and you do kind of just happen upon them when you're walking through the park, and it's really a unique. I know that Magic Kingdom has the streetmosphere characters like the mayor and the fire chief and those guys that are up and down the street, but it is really just a unique part of that park that I hope they don't lose. I hope with all the new changes and all the new parts coming to that park, I hope they don't the citizens of Hollywood, don't get axed, because it's really a neat, you're right. You'll stand in front of them and you'll just listen to them. You'll watch. I love when they do they have there's like an improv show they do where they sing. One of them will start a song, the next one will have to say a couple more lines.
Yes.
It's a really, really cool thing, and it's always different. You've never seen that show before, no matter how many times you've been to the park. And yeah, it really is such a cool, unique experience. And yeah, I really hope they keep that.
And one of the things, you bring up a really good point, and as we're kind of wrapping everything up, if a guest sees something like that, maybe if it's the Citizens of Hollywood, or even if you're at Yachtsman Steakhouse and you have a server who does a really good job, I always tell people you've got to take 2 minutes and just sing their praises. Go down to, if you're at a park, going down to the guest relations office and talking to someone and just filling out a card or a comment card, or the manager at the restaurant. It goes a long way to help these people. Not only to help these folks who these folks do a tremendous job of trying to make everyone feel like they're going to have the time of their life, no matter where you are on property. But also, I think it's great too, from what I'm hearing, is it helps Disney understand what the guests like. So if, for example, the Citizens of Hollywood, if people say, hey, I love the show, I love these actors, this is a really fun thing to do, it makes them understand, hey, this is an important thing we need to make sure we keep.
Yeah, I think you're right. And just speaking as a former cast member, that exact thing that you said, going to, guest relations and telling, someone how much somebody, made your day or helped you out, or it really does mean a lot. It changes. I know I've gotten a couple when I was a cast member, I got a couple comment cards, and they call them magical moments. And it really, it makes you want to be a better cast member. It makes you so proud of, not to sound too corny, but making the magic is what they call it a lot. And it's a really neat thing to do for somebody. And I think all too often cast members hear complaints and they get the negative feedback. And it's nice to give them the positive feedback every once in a while.
No, you're right, man. And I know there's a lot of cards in guest relations that have Johnny Shortsleeve's name on it. Cause, I love to sing everyone's praises down there, cause they do an amazing job. And, we can't say enough good things about the cast members.
Awesome. Well, thank you for filling out the comment cards for the cast members. And thank you again for being on with me tonight. I know as we're recording, it's gotten kind of late here on the East Coast where we are. So, thank you so much for staying up late and recording with me. I appreciate it.
And it's always fun talking. Thanks for letting me hang out with you for a little bit here.
Thank you. And if people want to get in touch with you, want to see what you're up to, where do they go for that?
Yeah, the best place right now is Facebook. It's facebook.com/Johnny Shortsleeve. That's where I have the main community page set up. It's Johnny with a Y and Shortsleeve singular, only one of them. And it's a lot of fun. What we're doing there is trying to see if we can build a community of folks who are like-minded, want to do cool things. And, it all kind of got built around the idea of just walking up to people and giving them a high five. And it's a pattern interrupt. It's something that changes your state of mind and makes you feel a little bit happy when you may be pretty down and beat up from the day that you've been going through. So feel free to stop by, hang out, say hello, and love to hear everyone's story when they're coming through and hanging out with us on the page.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I've told you before that I've worn your shirt in the parks, and I've had people surprise me with the high five because I wasn't paying attention. And it's really a cool thing that you're doing, and it does really help someone, turn their day around a little bit if they're having a bad day. So thank you for doing what you're doing, and thanks again for being on here with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. We'll do this again soon.
Man, appreciate it. So, thanks again, and can't wait till the next time we get a chance to catch up.
All right, thanks again. Good night. That'll do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you had as much fun listening as we had talking about this topic. If you enjoyed the podcast, please check out the blog over at eartotheretravel.com. It's full of interesting articles, fun stories, Disney recommendations, and a lot more. You can also head over there to request your free, no-obligation quote for your Disney vacation. I'd love to help you plan your next trip to any Disney destination. And remember, my services are always free of charge. Thanks again for listening, and watch out next week for the newest episode of the Ear to There podcast. Have a great week. Bye-bye.